Christmas edition of Two Men in Black and White and Honest Conversation. All right. Christmas morning, Donald Trump woke up and immediately began truth socialing. Roughly 200 to 300 nonsensical truth socials or truths, whatever you'd like to call them. None of them made any sense. And you just like to think, wow, that must have been some Christmas morning with all the grandbabies huddled up around old Saint Fulio. I mean, what kind of Christmas morning is it when all you're doing is just spouting off craziness and conspiracy theories for the world to see? I'll tell you what it is. It's a demented old man who's in mental decline, and we're not doing a damn thing about it. Brocken Ellis joins us now from under the mistletoe. I'd give you a kiss, bro, but you're too far away. He's up in the beautiful confines of the upper Hudson River Valley. And happy Christmas Kwanzaa to you. That encompasses everything: Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Ramadan. We got it all in there.
Thank you. Very, very inclusive of you.
Yes, indeed. I like to include everyone. We're an all-inclusive show here.
Is that your war on Christmas right there? You just no, because you've decided that just because you acknowledge another human being's faith and or culture doesn't mean you're denying your own, right?
Doesn't mean mine has to go away.
Your Christmas one bit to actually say something about someone else's. What do you know? What do you know? You can do that.
Or should we just say happy holidays and make Christmas go away? But Christmas is back now because Trump is. Oh,
well,
God. I hear that one more time.
I feel like because it was Christmas and most of us, and I celebrated my wife and her family, right? We had the Christmas, the whole thing, the tree, Christmas dinner. It's fantastic.
Right.
Is when most of us are trying to be a really best version of ourselves and spread joy and love, and we're around people in our lives that we care about, who we're really rooting for and want to express that and have those connections with them. So we're trying to be good and happy and spread that happiness. These are the days where I think Trump's like vitriol and his lunacy are just more stark, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to feel like everyone who scrolled their feed and saw Trump blasting out this crazy, angry shit, it made you wonder, like, Donald, aren't you going downstairs to have like brunch with your grandkids? Aren't they opening the presents that you or Melania got them? Aren't you having a joyful family moment yourself? And can't you leave the fucking rest of us alone for a few hours to not have to live in your horrible world? And so it just like struck me so much of that day because no one else was doing it on that day, right?
Right.
Stephen Miller might have been, right? And Stephen Miller was the only other one doing it. Those two.
Yeah, well, his wife was truth socialing with Elon Musk under the mistletoe. But that's another story for another day. But I think you're right. I think it's in stark contrast to the American value and belief system. Normally you would get good tidings and good cheer from the office of the president on Christmas Day, right? Barack would send out a prayer. The Bidens would send out a prayer, peace and love to everyone in all places. But we've lost that connection with the office because we don't understand the lunacy that's in there now. We don't understand the hate. We don't understand the constant barrage of angry, with vitriol. Like, we don't understand how someone who's had so much privilege and so much given to them, he was given $400 million. Maybe he's pissed because he lost it all. I don't know.
I think he's
But
more,
whatever it is,
yeah.
it's disgusting.
I mean, the fact Trump's such a horrendous human being, right?
Right.
And he's in mental decline. So, like, all the anger, and it's only just the worst of the worst that comes out of him now. So, he's just becoming a worse and worse version of himself, who's already a horrible person, right? We know 20, 30
Right.
years ago he was raping teenage girls, right? Like, so this is a
Right.
really bad person getting worse as he slips into mental decline. And I just find it two things. Number one is, like, this is the biggest story in America, really arguably in the world right now, that the
Right.
leader of the free world, the leader of the most powerful and wealthiest nation in the world, has an absolute fucking lunatic leading it. And oh, by the way, there's no Trump derangement syndrome. I'm not deranged because I see that Trump is a horrendous, lost human being. And I believe that MAGA sees it also. You know,
They have-
everyone in the administration sees it. You know, everyone in Congress and Senate, they see it. They see it up close. They're not willing to say anything about it because they've decided their jobs and keeping their power, you know, has them, no one, almost none of them are ever confronting Trump. But we all
Right.
see it, and we know the MAGA rank and file, we know you see it also. You've chosen to ignore it. You may look
Sure.
the other way. You may be swallowing it because you like the outcomes. You may love the fact that ICE was running around on Christmas Day rounding up brown people as they were trying to have their Christmas Day with their families. You may love that. You may love the fact that you get to be racist in this regime, outwardly racist. Maybe it makes you feel better. But don't pretend and bullshit me that you don't see that Donald Trump is totally off the fucking rails and is one of the
Right.
worst human beings that you've ever encountered or in any realm of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop! Don't bullshit me. Just acknowledge it and say it's okay, and the means justifies the ends, and you'll roll
Right.
with it.
Right. Right. So he's still bitching about the 2020 election in his barrage of truths yesterday. Um, he's still complaining about the Democratic fraud pyramid, whatever that is. And he posted some 8-minute video about someone explaining that. Um, he talked about praise for the chief propagandist, KKK Caroline Levitt, and her, fake news rants, and someone who called the Democrats a criminal organization. Like, this goes on, and then his final parting shot was, quote, "Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas." I guess we're going into full-blown dictatorship.
I said, and/or like, was he just? Or is he going to nuke America? Like, what does that mean? Is he put the end of us?
Ah,
I mean,
gosh,
Mark, he's so
almighty.
many things at once. Such a malignant narcissist. He couldn't leave us alone on Christmas Day because he couldn't live with
Nope.
the fact that for that day, most of America, if not all of America, was going to focus on something else and not him,
Right.
and didn't give a shit
Right.
about him. So it was like he
Right.
was like screaming for attention all day long when we were just trying to spend some time with our families, and maybe
Yep.
let the little ones open their gifts and have a great day. Right?
I mean,
And
he even
we were
screwed
showering
that up.
them with attention, right? We were showering them with attention and not him. That's number one. But when I get back to the point of, I know you see it, MAGA. I know you see it.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the clips of Trump speaking to kids about, like, whatever that NORAD Santa Claus tradition they do. And literally the 8-year-old kid from Pennsylvania who mentioned something about Santa Claus, and Trump is literally talking to the kid about winning the electoral votes in that state. As if the 8-year-old kid gives a flying fuck
Gives a damn.
about the electoral college. It's like the kid's trying to get some presents, and he literally was talking about how he loves coal to some little girl who just said she didn't want to get coal in her stocking or something. I mean, it's absolute lunacy. No
Yeah.
one could write a Hollywood script of a farce of a leader and make it believable. It would, it's so far out there. Saturday Night Live skit can't even capture how
No.
lost Trump is and how he can't even interact in a normal human in any kind of normal human connection
And hey,
form.
Brock, when that movie does come out, and it's coming out, nobody's going to believe it. Nobody's going to believe the crazy shit that this guy was doing. Just like we didn't believe the, what was it, Prime or Netflix, the Trump, uh, um, movie version of him and Comey and their interaction. And, Russiagate, right? How, like, nobody believed it because it was so like, are you fucking kidding me? Our president did what? And it's like, look, I remember interviewing Oliver Stone on the JFK assassination when he did the movie JFK. And I said to him, no, it was a matter of fact, it wasn't even, we weren't even doing a movie junket on JFK. I just said to him, hey, can I talk to you a minute about JFK, in the movie version? And I said, did a lot of this stuff happen? Right? Because I don't know if you saw that movie, but there was a lot of stuff where it just made you look at our government like, oh my God, are we really doing this? And he swore to me up and down that that was all based in fact, rooted in fact, the entire movie. And we know the prosecution of Clay Bertrand or Clay Shaw was an actual, thing because they were court documents. He was tried in New Orleans. But, like Mr. X, the Donald Sutherland character, like, I just wanted to know, did you find this out somewhere? So, again, when this movie comes out, I'm going to be looking at it like, man, I hope these people did their homework and got the good shit in here, because I want to see the diaper and all. I want to see who changes the diaper, right? I want to see the rash, somebody powdering up the rash, and all the nonsense because we need the world to understand who he is. And then we need the world to understand what 51% of America looks like and believes and supports, right? Because we don't deserve the benefit of the doubt anymore. Not after what we've done to the rest of the world. Think about how many kids we've killed because we stopped giving aid to those less fortunate than us. That's the kind of human being that Donald Trump is, and that's the kind of human being that supports him. Those who are blessed and privileged, but don't see that privilege as the pressure as pressure to do the right thing, right? Most of these people have more than enough. How many freaking yachts can fucking Jeff Bezos water ski behind at a time?
Way too much, but they've convinced themselves that they're really like they are a master race, that
Right,
they're better, that they're a ruling, in essence,
right,
they should be a ruling class.
right.
I mean, side note, like, why are we bombing Nigeria? Do we have any sense as Americans of what the fuck we're doing there, who we're killing, and why we're killing them? Like, we just Christmas Day
Have we been
bombing in
told?
Nigeria? No
Has
mission, but that's when you have a mad king. When you allow lunacy to
Yep.
reign, then I mean, the problem with the movie you just talked about is the sad reality is when it's watched in 30, 40 years and it looks like some, comedy skit farce. Yeah, the
Right.
question's going to come to how did the rest of you support this?
Stand
Like,
by.
what
Yep.
were you doing? Like, how are we, if we're still alive, how are we going to
Yep.
explain to future generations that we watched this every day and it stopped being
Let
news.
it happen.
We
Yep.
stopped really caring or reporting on it anymore. And
Yep.
like any one of
And
these incidents is so
well,
absurd that it can't be allowed in the leader of the free world.
And all because we didn't want to vote for the brown lady. All because we were racist as fuck. And we didn't think she could do a halfway decent job. What? Refresh my memory. What was our economy prior to Trump taking office? That December, economists the globe over were saying that our economy was the envy of the world.
Yeah, best post-COVID recovery in the world, and we had
In
like
the
the
world.
lowest unemployment rate of our entire lifetime.
Yep. Did I tell you what black unemployment was right now?
Well, now I think you told me it was like 6 point
6 point. Whoa, we're going north,
higher.
fella. Higher. We're up around 8%, babe.
Oh boy.
Hundreds
Whoa.
of thousands of government workers, mostly black and black women. That's us. You know what I tell you, bro? White America catches a cold, gets the sniffles. Black America gets pneumonia. Or shit, a fatal dose of COVID.
Well, I know how
Jeez.
we keep talking about how our algorithms get us into a silo. But I mean, my feeds are inundated with clips of white Americans just absolutely going rip shit about either loss of jobs, loss of the farm, or their health insurance premiums that are about to kick in. Now we're down to 6 days away,
Yeah.
and how unaffordable life is for them in America, and the sense that nobody cares
Brock,
and
we're
nobody's
here.
listening.
We're here. And you know what? I can't even bring myself to say nanny, nanny, boo, boo. You get what you voted for. Right? I want to, but I feel horrible for people in that situation. Right? Because they've been hoodwinked, run amok, bamboozled, right? Led astray. Right? And, you know, I don't understand. Well, I do. I get it. I get why they thought it wouldn't happen to them.
Yeah,
Because it was supposed to happen to the others.
because it's never happened to them.
At all. At all. And that's what, you know, I think the rest of the world doesn't understand how racist we really are as a country. You know, the UK gets it because they're the original racists.
Yeah, and most of Europe, you know,
Yeah, most of Europe gets it.
I want to come back to the topic of racism in a second. Yeah, they maybe thought because we have such greater diversity than most of their countries that
Right.
we may have
We're not
appeared to
racist.
be and not racist. And we, you know, and because we elected a black man once, you know, then
Right.
maybe we're not, you know, as racist. And maybe because
Right.
they see so many of our, you know, athletes, entertainers, that we've exported all of that to the world. Maybe it appears that we're less racist, but you know, they're wrong.
Further from the truth. Yeah, it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, if Brock, if you really want to feel what racism in America feels like, listen to the former Cassius Clay, aka Muhammad Ali, talk about why he won't go and fight in Vietnam. He was at Howard University talking about the reasons why he won't go fight. And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect it's not hard to follow. You know? I mean, he's saying America won't fight for me. Why should I fight for it?
Yeah, Mark, sometimes I'm surprised at how many people of color go into the armed forces, but I get it, you know, maybe it's economic in some ways, right?
Absolutely.
You know, so it's economic in some ways, but look at how terrible the treatment has been of a lot of the people who've come back who are now getting deported, or family members are getting deported, as if they didn't get a, you know, some sort of waiver or pass. They risk their life for their country. They come
Right.
back, and now they're still going to get deported because Stephen Miller's saying they're too brown. I mean, it's
Right.
kind of it's disgraceful. But every I wanted to touch on this because I feel like when I go back to we had that conversation of why I was a white person who wasn't going to apologize, like with JD Vance. I think
Hmm.
my I wanted to clarify and go a layer deeper. Is first of all, I think that all races are racist. Latinos are racist. Asians are
Yeah,
racist. You know,
yeah,
so like
folks.
not just
Yeah,
white people, but racism in America because white people have the power. You know, racism is really a power dynamic. So in this country, white racism is the most damaging because the white people have the levers of power and
levers
the
of power.
economic power. And it got
Sure.
me to thinking, though, as I was saying that I didn't need to apologize, is like I don't think individually we need to apologize any more than I need a German tourist coming to New York that I meet up with on my business for a drink does not
Apologize.
need to personally apologize to me for the Holocaust. But as a collective, the country of Germany, as the statesmanship has apologized because they
Right.
wanted to move on from it. So I don't think individual white people need to apologize. But yeah, the country as a collective needs to have a reckoning and have an
Right.
apology for what they did to Black Native Americans and African
Yep.
Americans, right? To recalibrate and have a place to step forward from.
Well, it's interesting. I was listening to, oh, and I can't think of her name. There's a white female professor who talks to corporate America about white fragility and the white Americans' inability to understand racism and the system by which it's powered. And she said, if I hear one more person say I didn't own any slaves, my head's gonna explode. And she's right, because it didn't end with the end of slavery. That was just a movement into a more subtle form of systemic racism, right? It was just a little bit less over. I mean, think about it. What do we have? 4,500 documented lynchings in America. We're still getting news reports of African American men who have allegedly climbed a tree and hung themselves, right? Nothing to see here, just another suicide. Really? You know, First of all, I got a real problem with people coming to that conclusion so quickly. Really? Because there's no chair here, right? How do you get up the tree? Right? I mean, can we do a little bit of investigation? What do you think all this
Yeah.
stomped grass is around
Yeah.
here?
Not a lot of
Right?
white people climb trees and hang themselves, right? Like you
It
find,
never happens, right? Why are black people all of a sudden so distraught? Right? So, there needs to be, and you're right, it has to be a reckoning in order for us to, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
yeah,
And
but
in order
that's why I
for
was saying it can be collective. We'll take it away from the individual. Yes, I don't have a ancestor. My family wasn't even here yet at the beginning yet, right? My family didn't
right.
get here until 1914, right? So
Mhm.
clearly, right, in that respect, we can't apologize for slavery because
Right.
we were being, persecuted in our own
No,
country,
right.
right, as Jews. But having said that, coming to America, we certainly had a better shot at success being, quote, considered white. And who gets to call themselves white is a whole nother
Right.
conversation, right? Because,
Right.
who gets to call themselves white? Who's the arbiter of race?
Hmm.
Like
And why?
it's a made up construct, right?
Right. That
So
we needed that construct in order to have superiority, because you can't have inferiority without superiority. Right? I don't know if you caught the argument between what's his name, Shank Iger, Jillian Michaels, Roland Martin, Piers Morgan. An interesting panel they had, and I'm trying to find the whole conversation, but I caught some clips of it from another, vlogger, and Roland. See what you're failing to realize is Roland Martin is a student of African American history. when you ask for an expert on African American history, I don't know if you can find anyone on television better. Well, maybe Michael Eric Dyson, Cornell West, but Roland Martin. If those first two aren't available as actual scholars, I will take Roland Martin and put him up against anybody. And he breaks down the historical context of racism and why Jillian Michaels is just on there loud, right? I don't know why she decided to ruin her brand. Remember what was that show she was on? Fat
Biggest
Fit
Loser. Biggest Loser. Yeah, she's like a fitness
yeah.
star.
Yeah, she couldn't sell me anything these days. As a matter of fact, when I see her, I immediately turn, but then I saw she got schooled by Roland Martin, and Roland Martin put the smack down just by helping her, not even helping her realize, because I'm sure she doesn't get it, right? By helping the panel realize that, wait a minute, you had to have superiority in order to have inferior folks, right? That's how because look, everybody else came here. The Jews had their little enclaves, right? Still do in New York. Like Hasidim, right there in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. You drive down Bed-Stuy, right? I think it's Atlantic Avenue. I forget where I was. You see the kids, the mothers, the fathers walking everywhere with their traditional dress on. We have Chinatown in New York City, right? We have our Italian enclaves. We now have Spanish Harlem, right? We have a Dominican neighborhood, right? We have our Staten Island, which is predominantly Italian and such. So we have all these, but when we have a black neighborhood, for some reason, that seems to be the bad part of town. That seems to be where the redlining is taking place. That seems to be where the property values are not going up, but going down. That seems to be the place where the least investment is made. That seems to be the place where the schools suffer the most, where the least investment is made in our educational systems. And so it's not, some conspiracy. It's done on purpose.
Yeah, it's policy. It's
It's done on purpose. So until we decide that we're going to educate everybody, that we're going to feed everybody, right? That we're going to make life affordable for everybody, right? We're going to give everyone the same opportunity who wants it. Now, some people just don't want it. Some people are sociopaths. Some people are psychopaths. Some people have, mental illness, right? There are a whole lot of different reasons why some people can't aspire to success. But, for the rest of us, right, the other 97%, right, why can't we fight in order for a piece of the American dream without going to the bank and being denied?
We don't have a collective mentality.
No,
It's a little bit of a curse of the, rugged individualism that was so, has been so lauded and kind of overplayed, right? And it's always been kind of a farce, right?
Sure.
It was a myth from the start, but we don't have a collective mentality. Like,
No.
why else would we have a society fight so hard and find it so crazy to even put on the table the discussion of universal health care? The fact that
It's
we're
crazy.
all in it together and we all want each other to have better health care outcomes. So we're all going to pool together in this one area and be like, you know what? Everyone should be treated properly and have a chance to live a better, longer, healthier life. And we won't jump in the pool together, right? We won't do it, even though
Right.
it makes total sense.
Right.
And all these other countries have done it, and they spend less money for better outcomes, and we spend the most money for the worst,
Right.
worst outcomes. Why is the richest nation in the world like whatever we are, 27th, 37th, 47th on healthcare, and now we have a declining
Right.
life expectancy.
Life expectancy.
Why
Our
we
life
won't do it
expectancy is going down.
because we want, we're so haves and have nots, focused,
Right.
and maybe it's because we don't care about each other enough,
Right.
in the collective. And maybe that's
And
the fatal flaw
that's
that
the
Russia
bottom
saw in
of it.
America and really is exploited. That's what our enemies are
Yeah,
exploiting, our lack of unity.
exactly. Exactly. And now China, right? Japan, look at what Japan. I don't know if you remember, we had an episode last year, probably late January, early February, and I had a list of all the amazing things they had done in Japan over the past year. And it was like, high speed rail, solar, right? Like the rest of the world is passing us by. Like we are literally standing still. We're going backwards,
We're talking about
right?
coal.
We're trying to
We're
open
talking about coal again. We're
coal,
shutting
right?
down wind. We're shutting down wind power, and we're talking about like the glory of coal. Like the
Dude,
rest of the world's trying to move off it
dude,
because we know it's killing us. And
right,
but because they support Donald Trump and put money in his pocket, the entire nation
right.
now, we, all of us, support coal and shut down wind farms. Like we're a party to it. Like complicit.
Yes,
We're complicit.
absolutely.
I mean, full circle. It
All
just
right,
goes
give me a
back to
quick
the
hit
fact
so
that
we can get out of here.
we're letting a lunatic run our nation.
Yeah, really doing. Yep.
Quick hit. Which one do I want to go with? I'm gonna go with so the latest person to shut down their social media accounts and their Instagram account for what appears to be a public appearance that has not necessarily played out as expected, but Nicki Minaj is no longer on Instagram among other social forums. So it appears as though she may be in a desperate attempt to get her brother pardoned for the rape of the stepdaughter and or her husband
Sexual predator.
off to sexual predator roles or a double dip. But I don't think Nicki Minaj helped her
At
career
what
very much
cost?
by that appearance with Erica Kirk.
Ruined the brand. Ruined the brand, as did Snoop Dogg. Ain't nobody fooling with Snoop Dogg. And then Snoop Dogg didn't help himself last night with Bocelli and these folks that he added into a gin and juice performance, and all of a sudden he's got country singers coming. I'm like, what? What is this? Turn that crap off,
Oh, is that what he
right?
did? The
Like,
great
why we?
I saw that there was some talk that he was lip syncing, but I did see it like it was him and Lainey
Yeah,
Wilson, this and that. I didn't know they did. Oh, he's doing a MAGA
yeah,
crossover, huh? Okay, he's reaching out.
yeah. It was a halftime show, right? And so now remember, with all the blowback from Kendrick Lamar's halftime show last year, the Christmas Day halftime show of the what was it, the Vikings Lions game last night, had to be a diverse crowd. So you had to figure out how to talk about killing people, in gang warfare, while you're throwing in an old holy shit stomping, got my cowboy boots on type of song. You know, um, it didn't work for me because I'd rather see one or the other. If I'm going to see a country music artist, I want to see the country music artist. I don't want this blend of, what do we call it, hip country. I don't want to see it. And the Bocellis, I don't know what music they sing. Again, forgive me for staying in my hip hop silo, but I'm
Uh,
hardcore New York. I'm an '80s baby, New York. Did
but
I invent hip hop? No, but I was there.
but having said that, were you good with Beyonce's country album?
I was, because it was country.
Yeah, she's from Houston. Like, why can't she be country?
Because
So
it was country.
you're okay with Shabuzi?
I don't know who Shabuzi's. I can't point out Shabuzi's song,
You don't
but I
know
was okay with the other fella.
Gary
Uh,
Schwarber?
No, oh yeah, I love Hootie.
Yeah, I love Hootie,
And
but
Hootie
then
stuff is
he went
tough.
more country. Then he went more country after. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what Hootie
because
was. Hootie was pop, I guess.
yeah,
Pretty,
Hootie. I was
pretty
gonna
pop.
say it was more pop than country when he first began, but then he leaned toward country. Um, and then the guys that were on "We're Coming to Your City" on College Game Day um, with rapping Cowboy Troy.
I don't know those
Um,
guys. I don't know those guys.
now I got to look it up
Wait, but
because
let me
they're
go. Okay,
they're
let me
good.
go to the next step. Then, are you okay with? Okay, I'm gonna take Eminem out of the discussion because he's so good that you have to be okay with him. I'm not even giving you the option of
Okay with
Eminem.
white rappers.
Yeah, he's like the Nikola Jokic or Larry Bird of rappers, right? He gets all the respect. But what about like guys like maybe it's like a Jack Harlow or other white guys who are doing rap? Are you okay with that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
because they've created a unique. Rap is all about creating a unique sound, right? And an interesting, um, melody that we can bob our heads to, right? So one of the songs that came from, oh geez, I'm getting old, but there was a recent hip hop song that was done by Young and Ace, and Young and Ace is purportedly a gang member in Jacksonville, and apparently the gang scene in Jacksonville is off the charts insane. Matter of fact, Young and Ace's gang just retaliated against Julio Fulio, and they just had um, a steamy and heated trial in which a father testified against his son. So Queso's dad took the stand against Queso. Queso is a rapper in this group with Young and Ace, and the song is called "Who I Smoke." But the track was from this catchy, pop artist. And when the song came out and it was going gangbusters, she came out in their defense because she let them sample it and said, why shouldn't they have the right to express themselves? I'm okay with it. And so, because and I didn't know any of this, and I said to my son, "Isn't that very popular, you know, pop song?" And I'm like, "They're rapping over it, and are they talking about killing people when they say who I smoke?" And he's like, "Yeah," and he starts one of the best conversations we ever had. He starts explaining this whole gang thing to me in Jacksonville, and I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And but it's the power of expression. That's what music is, the great connector. I didn't like what Snoop was doing because Snoop is trying to appease somebody to make money, right? You can't go on trial for murder and then be the moral compass while you're making songs about shake your booty, gin and juice, chronic, weed, shooting people, gang violence, right? Like you can't have it both ways, right? So now you want to be the face of the Olympics, so you're going to go and include all these white performers in a gin and juice song? What? Rolling down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice?
Okay, so you think
Laid back?
in your view he's pandering. He's not like
Yeah, absolutely.
he's not playing this. Okay.
Absolutely. He's not staying true to the art. But it's all in an effort to make money, right? Because we all know these rap if we didn't learn anything from the Diddy documentary, we learned they don't make any money. Right? Unless you're the Dr. Dre of the group,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you're the Diddy of the group, right? Or you're the Khaled of the group. You're not
The
making any
producer
money.
mix, yeah,
Yeah.
the owner, and yeah, and if you learn anything from Taylor Swift, you learn that they don't end up owning their songs, right?
Exactly.
So down the road,
Exactly.
they're not getting the long term value out of it unless, you know,
Right.
they somehow, played the game differently, which most of them
which most of
can't
them,
afford them to.
because they don't have any leverage when they're
Yeah, they
starting
can't.
out,
Yeah.
right? They don't
sell
know
their
they're going
soul.
to be
They sell
stars.
their soul to get a break, right?
Exactly. What Snoop is doing right now. And they say Snoop could be next. That's the talk on the street. At hoodtv.com.
Not to talk on my street, but on some streets. Probably more talking Martha Stewart on my street. Oh, boy. All right, Mark, always a
All right, good
pleasure.
buddy. We'll rack
Merry
it up and do it
Christmas,
again tomorrow.
and we'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Take
That's
care.
good, buddy.
All right, bye.
Peace.